Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So it's been a little bit since I've done, a caliber review, whether or not it's good for self-defense or not. And this one is going to be kind of an interesting one. 357 Magnum. It's decently hard-hitting round, guys. So let's get right into it. 357 Magnum, if you guys don't know, is a revolver round. However, I'm pretty sure there are some lever guns that are chambered at 357, as well as some Desert Eagles actually were, if I'm not mistaken, originally chambered in 357 Magnum. But let's get right into it. We're going to start off with home defense. So your average capacity for 357 Magnum, generally speaking, is anywhere from 6 to 8 rounds. I'm going to be nice and we'll meet in the middle, say 7, right? Just the capacity as a whole, not a great start to this. Not a great start by any standard to what you would want for a home defense. The power to the round, it is a decently powerful round. I will say that without a doubt. I've shot 357 Magnum a good handful of times, I'll say. I had to check myself there, humble myself a bit. I haven't shot it plenty of times. I've shot it, a handful of times. And throughout the times I've shot it, it's decently, it has a good little bit of recoil on it. Granted, I'm, very new actually to shooting revolvers, so remember that. But, 357 Magnum has a decent little bit of recoil on it. It is a pretty hard-hitting round, though, from all the ballistic gel testing that I have seen and all the research that I have done. It is a pretty hard-hitting round, so it does have that going for it. Let's get that out the way right now. No one is saying that if you get shot by the round that you will be just fine. It is a definitely hard-hitting round, much harder hitting than 38 Special. So let's get right into it. Home defense, as I said, the capacity is not looking the best. That is a huge deal to me. I am a big capacity guy. You may be wondering, oh, well, how big of a capacity guy can you really be? Well, for example, while we're sitting here making this video, I have my Ruger LCP chambered in 380. You're like, okay, that's small capacity, single stack. That's pinky extender mag. That's 7 right there, plus 1 in the chamber. That's 8. I also got my G2C on me. That's another 13. I have 21 rounds, 2 of them already in the chamber, ready to go, of their respective guns, sorry. While I'm just making this video, I am very much so a capacity guy. That's never been an argument that anyone can make against me. I believe that there is no such thing as too many bullets in a gunfight for you to have on you at your disposal when you need them. There is just that. So it's already looking kind of sour for me, unfortunately. Now, what I will say, as a plus side, is if you're looking at something like, for example, Desert Eagles that are chambered in 357 Magnum, if I'm not mistaken, you're getting around a capacity of 9 plus 1 in the chamber, which, that's 10 rounds total. That's not too bad that's not too bad of a capacity for that round now. That's more of a capacity I'd be somewhat acceptable with. You know what I mean? But that's really if you have that extra 1 in the chamber. I believe once you hit double digits, you're working with something at least. You know what I mean? Now, as I said before in several other videos, it varies depending on the power of the round. But in this case, 357 Magnum is not that powerful for it to make that much of a difference that I would be okay with having less than double digits in rounds. So there is that. Let's make that clear. As I mentioned before, it is a decently hard-hitting round, so you're not worried about, oh yeah, I have to shoot someone with it 25 times in order for them to go down. But you still do want to get a good couple of rounds in the target, just so that way the threat is no longer a threat. Let's clarify that. Let me see here. It is a fairly loud round. It's kind of funny, actually, if you watch my short, where I'm shooting the, Jesus, I can English. Where I'm shooting the Colt Python and chambered in 357, of course. I shoot alternating rounds, 38 Special and 357 Magnum out of it. And you see, it's very much so a difference in how loud they are. Not to mention very much so a difference in recoil. there is that. So it's not a quiet round by any standard. So just remember that. It is a decently hard-hitting round, though. That is 100% true. The capacity is not the greatest. So we're not looking too greatly here, I guess you could say, and we're in too high of a manner for home defense for 357 Magnum. So while I'm sure it can do the job, would I go out of my way to use that caliber for it, considering all of the capacity lacking that it has, considering that it is a not a super high recoiled gun, but a super high recoiled caliber. But if you train with it, it can be fine, But for a lot of people, it's definitely not going to be your go-to for home defense. I'm going to give it an overall 6.5 out of 10. As I said, I'm sure it can do the job. It's just not something I 100% would go for as my. That just wouldn't be it. Now, with that being said, we're going to move on to concealed carry. So, 357 Magnum in a concealed carry situation, I would give it a tiny bit more of a leeway, in the sense of capacity, I guess we could say, because no matter what, there aren't really any small semi-auto 357 Magnum guns, which kind of is just a con in of itself. But regardless, I'll give it a little bit of leeway, with the capacity in this case and say that, the 7 round average is an okay capacity. Personally, would I? No. But regardless, I'll be nice because 357 Magnum does have a bit more oomph to it and a bit more kick than 38 Special. So you're carrying around a 357 Magnum revolver, whether it's a 2-inch barrel or a 4-inch barrel, that's on you. Just remember those 2 inches, they do mean a good cut in velocity. But my whole point is that with that capacity, it might be okay. It's going to be very difficult to reload in a situation that you're going to need to reload, which hopefully you wouldn't have to do in a home defense situation either, or a concealed carry. But I do feel in concealed carry, you're probably going to be more likely to need to reload. The reason why that is because concealed carry situations tend to happen a little bit quicker than home defense situations happen. And that's just, at least from my experience, what I have seen, so on and so forth. It's the truth of the matter is that that's going to be kind of a big negative there. That's something that you got to remember. While it is also a hard hitting round, that remember, if you hit the threat, that's a good thing. If you're hitting someone else, there's a good chance you're really going to fuck up someone's day. Now, granted, that is with any other caliber, and it's not like, someone's day is going to be made better by getting shot when they had nothing to do with the situation. But just remember, it is a hefty round. I do have similar thoughts actually about 10 millimeter and shit. That it is a hefty round. I would hate to be a passerby who accidentally gets hit by one of them. So you definitely want to make sure that you're getting your rounds on target, as of course with any self-defense situation goes, let alone concealed carry, especially if there are other people out there. Since 357 Magnum is, a pretty hard hitting round, there is a bit more of a chance of what we like to call, over penetration, than compared to something like 9 millimeter or whatever. But is that a guarantee that you're going to deal with any over penetration? No, that's not a guarantee. There is just a bit higher of a chance. Now, with that being said, one pro at least for concealed carrying in this case is that revolvers do tend to have, they do have less forms of malfunctions than semi-autos do. So by a lot of people's logic, they're like, okay, so less types of malfunctions equals less malfunctions. So revolvers don't malfunction as much. When you think about it that far, sure, yeah, it's a positive. But when you think about it a bit further, due to the fact that a semi-auto's malfunctions can be cleared and fixed a lot quicker than a revolver's can, really it's kind of a yin-yang pro/con thing. So let's get that out the way. Concealed carry, honestly, I'll probably end up giving it the same score of a 6.5 out of 10. While, as I said, I'm sure it can do the job. I'm not too sure that it's the best for the job. You know what I mean? That's just the truth of the matter here. The round itself, like the lack of capacity, no matter what, as I said, even though I tried to give it a little bit of leeway, still does weigh a heavy factor due to the fact that you want to have as many rounds at your disposal as possible so that way you can defend yourself the best way possible. You don't want to run out of bullets in the middle of a gunfight. That's just the truth of the matter here. Is that to say that all self-defense situations will be gunfights? No. But you want to be prepared as if it will be one. That is just the truth of the matter here. Next, shit hits the fan. 357 Magnum round, that's going to be, I mean, it can be helpful with a couple of things like, hunting, stopping, just taking down certain types of animals. It definitely can be helpful for sure. There's no argument there. But it's not the most commonly found round out there. And if shit hits the fan, chances of you going around to your local gun store buying ammo is slim to none. But it's just not really the most sought after round anymore because revolvers, they're not the most popular forms of handguns anymore. So, I mean, I can see how that's already going to be an issue in of itself. There's no doubt there. There's no argument there. There's no doubt about that. As I said, it can be useful in the sense of hunting. It can be useful, in the sense that it is a revolver round. There is some capabilities due to its power that it can be a little bit better than some of the standard semi-auto loads. Sure, there's no doubt about that. There's not really anything that's pushing for it to be too great, though. There's nothing that's, saying, hey, this round would be something you need in a shit hits the fan situation. It's not even really that great of a, look, it's not that great of a hunting round in the sense, I can English, God. It's not that great of a hunting round in the sense that it's not used to hunt too many forms, too much type of game. That's a weird way to have to phrase it, but I think that's correct. It's not used to hunt a lot of different types of game. So it's not really going to be the biggest help for you when it comes to hunting. Now, as I said, it is used for hunting. It can be used very well as well. But there's nothing about it that's making it shine too much for a shit hits the fan situation. Overall, I'm going to give that one a 6 out of 10. And once again, guys, this is not shitting on the 357 Magnum round. It honestly is a really fucking cool round in my opinion. I like the fact that out of all the 357 Magnum guns, I can shoot 38 special out of them too. That's really fucking cool. But it's just not going to be the most optimal round for, a lot of forms of self-defense nowadays. Next, last but not least, we're moving on to, almost said shit, it's a fan again. Sorry, guys. Been one of those nights, as you can imagine. This is like take 3 of the video, I believe. So, but last but not least, animal defense. This is actually a round I believe will do a really good job in this case because, as I said before, it is used for hunting. Now, it's not used for a lot of different types of game, but it can for sure do the job with a lot of animals that you are more likely to come across that might pose as a threat to your life or your safety. For starters, if we're talking about smaller animals like, a larger dog or whatever, yeah, it's definitely going to do the job. If we're talking about, anywhere from medium to, I won't say large, but maybe some large, like 357 Magnum, for example, as far as medium will for sure stop a boar. Yeah, will for sure stop a fucking wild hog at least. For sure will sit there and stop a goddamn coyote, hyena, wolf, mountain lion, cougar, whatever. It for sure will, stop a lot of different types of animals ranging from small to medium size that can be a threat to your life. It will probably be a great deterrent as well for a lot of larger sized animals, considering it is a very hard hitting round. Now, of course, one con that I will always put down as a con is the lack of capacity. However, in this case, that really isn't the biggest deal. And hear me out on why. While your life will still be in danger, and you want to have as many rounds as possible, I still am a firm believer in that no matter what. At least you're not in a fucking gunfight. I will say that right now. It's much less scary to run out of ammo when you're fighting a wild animal than it is when you're in a fucking gunfight, in my opinion. Now, so let me clear that up. The capacity isn't my biggest concern in this situation due to the fact that if you run out of ammo, at least you're not getting shot at. You were the one who was doing the shooting. But it definitely can be a pretty good round for sure for defending yourself against some animals, whether it be small, medium, some large, you know. And some people are wondering, oh, what do you mean by small animals? Are you thinking squirrels, rabbits? No, I'm more so thinking like larger dogs, like maybe, you know, pit bulls, German shepherds, whatever. I mean, even my dog, I would consider, you know, like small, but she's 65 pounds. When she stands up, she's like over, I don't know, she's like 5'10" when she stands up on two legs. You know what I mean? She's not really a small dog, but compared to a lot of the other animals out there in the wild, she is very small. That doesn't mean she couldn't pose a threat to my life if she wanted to. She is a very strong and very smart dog. It doesn't matter how, you know, it doesn't matter that she's only 65 pounds. She is a strong fucking dog. I could still, look, guys, she's strong, but she ain't that strong. She's super strong, though, for a 65-pound dog. My point, though, is simply that that's more so what I would consider a smaller animal that you might need to defend your life from if it came down to it. I'm not talking like some insanely super small animals. Hell, even some snakes. Look, let me put it like this. I'll be honest with you guys. If I see a snake is coming towards me and I have the opportunity, I 100% will shoot a snake. I don't care. If I have the chance to, and I know for a fact that a snake is coming at me, I will shoot it. I don't give a fuck. Let's make that clear. I don't like snakes that well. I mean, I'm okay with, like, you know, ones that I know are not venomous, you know, and ones that aren't trying to bite me. But other than that, I'm good. I'm good. So, with that being said, the overall number I'll give 357 Magnum for animal defense. As I said, it can do a pretty damn good job. It can do a pretty damn good job as far as defending yourself from smaller animals, medium-sized animals, to even some large animals. I will give it a fair 7.5 out of 10. Because while I do believe that if it had a higher capacity, that really could have boosted it a good couple of points, I still believe it will do the job for you if need be, as long as you get your hits on target. With that being said, I think a fair overall average here we're looking at is about, I don't know, 6 and change, you know, maybe 6.5, somewhere around there. I didn't want to break it down and do all the math 100% fully in my head, but it's around there. It's around 6 and change. With that being said, does that mean that the 357 Magnum round is not a round that you should consider looking into, you know, to buy some guns chambered in that round? No, not at all. I plan on getting some guns that are chambered in 357 Magnum. Does that mean that you shouldn't use it for self-defense? No, I'm just a guy on YouTube. Don't take my word as concrete. You do what you want to. You are your own adult. But just know, based off all the facts I have presented here, based off everything I have stated about the round, while it is an okay round, it is not going to be your best bet for self-defense. With that being said, if you agree with me, make sure to check out all my other videos. Hold on, wait a minute. What am I doing here? I almost just played myself. I almost played you guys. I know, be upset with me. I'm a bad person. But with that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, there we go. Because you agree with me that, well, 357 Magnum, pretty fucking cool round. Probably not your best bet for self-defense. Make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.